wait for it here. So what's not mystical about that? Or mystic? Or I'm going to be like a TV here that you're just flipping through the channels and you're probably asleep. I would like to divide myself into 5 people and each tell a different story. I need to get my cheat sheets here. I wrote one on paper and one on my hand, but I need my glasses. So what's going on? What's going on, man? Well, so right now the planet is spinning at 25,000 miles an hour. One night I felt it. Fortunately, I was outside. And it is going around the Earth at about 300,000 miles an hour, and the Sun is going around the Milky Way at 500,000 miles an hour. 500,000 miles an hour. And the Milky Way is going through space at 700,000 miles an hour. So we'll be about 1 million miles from where we were by the end of this show. So how far away are you from where you were born? Millions, billions of miles. I was 4 or 5 years old, staring at myself in the mirror, having an existential crisis. Probably my first, because I had to go to church, and just like every Sunday, and I said, why do I have to go to church? Because we want you there. Why? Because I said so. That didn't make any sense to me. So what am I doing here? How did I get here? It took me 14 billion years to get here. So they say. 14 billion years ago, something like the size of a BB or smaller came out of nothing and exploded and contained all the matter of everything in the universe. Every thought was contained in that somehow. Everything was contained in that. And it's expanding still. At first it was just a bunch of atoms and molecules, mostly hydrogen, and then it cooled off and they got together. And then some stars burst into flame. And then those stars exploded in supernovas, and then that created certain kind of molecules, and other stars got together, and those stars exploded. They had to do that a couple times to get to the molecules that we're made of. So we really are made of stardust. And then the Earth was this ball of lava spinning around, and a huge asteroid hit it and knocked off a chunk called the Moon and tilted it on its axis so it wobbles. And that's why life can be here, because the axis wobbles and it's tilted and there's the Moon going around it. And then some people say it's like all accident that life came along. All these molecules said, let's get together and be DNA. Because what's the difference between matter and a cell, living matter? And it's DNA, pretty much. And DNA, double helix, one going upstairs and the other going downstairs the opposite way. I forget how long it is. It's like miles long for us, you know. And So basically the chances of that happening by accident are the same as a hurricane blowing through a junkyard and assembling a 747 fully serviced on its way to Paris. It's just sort of unlikely. A lot of evidence for intelligent design. What that means, I don't know, but accident seems very unlikely. And then, so there's all this green algae floating around. And that stuff decides to become fish, and then the fish decide to go on the land, and the creatures decide to become people. And there are kind of different kinds of people, and then they drop off, and it's just us kind of people. And we've been around 100,000 years or so. And we think everything that's been going on has been happening in the last 5,000 years. Yeah, okay, maybe. Every civilization talks about a flood. Every one of them talks about a flood about 12,000 years ago. And there's this book, Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock, and there's just a whole lot of evidence there really was a flood. And the people that built the pyramids, like the pyramids are probably 10,500 years old. The imprint of Giza and the star map match exactly for the solstice of 10,500 years ago. So I was researching all this stuff for some shows I did a few years back. Was like Surfing UFO and Spaceman Dada Robot and all. I was then researching all this. It just blowing my cotton picking mind. On my cheat sheet I have Incas. How did they cut the blocks like that? Like Play-Doh? Who knows? Pyramids. Precise. And they were covered in quartz. And when the sun hit them, they must have lit up like the sun. And they're not tombs. There are a lot of tombs in Egypt, but they don't have any characteristics of the tombs. Let's see, what else? Invisibility. Everything's invisible, right? Like, our imagination is invisible. These sound waves are invisible. Hitting this little thing in your ear, creating neurons shooting around, and you're understanding what I'm saying. If I was speaking a different language, you wouldn't, but somehow you're understanding this language. And I'm coming through your retinas upside down, and you're flipping me over somehow. And, you know, somebody over here says, you know, that guy that's, you know, looks like I hate his shirt. Somebody over here says I like his shirt. Nobody agrees. You know, I don't know what any of y'all thinking. Or every word I say means something different to everybody. Crop circles. Man. There's a great documentary at the library about this. I'm serious, man. Who makes those in 10 minutes? It's not Doug and Dave. It really isn't. So, I don't know what's going on. I think the singularity is the next thing. Like, so I'm going to just plug this phone into here. You know, everybody thinks if computers evolve, they'll be like the Borg. They think intelligence will be cold, like the Borg, and they'll be out to get us or something. But I was reading this one book, and it said when there is enough intelligence present, spirituality is also present, a sense of something else, more dimensions. So what if the computers in the singularity, instead of being like the Borg, what if they're like Buddhas and Jesus? And all these computers will be like yogis, and they'll see the fourth dimension. And the singularity will be us being able to see everybody, see their whole time body, see their whole dimensions, see all their past lives. Who knows what's going to happen then? 3, 2, 1. What is time? Time. That's another funny one, huh? They say there's no such thing as time. They say there's only one moment, so all these pictures are a picture of the present moment. But in a linear fashion, I'm going to call this the end of my show. Thank you very much.